Hi, I'm Corky Justice, and I'm really excited to share my health and wellness journey with you. Mine started about 4 years ago, and that's when everything changed for me, and my life became completely different. What happened is, let's go back almost 30 years ago. I was in a car accident that changed everything for me. It completely changed my body. It didn't allow me to live the life I had lived in the past, and it was bad. For about 4 years, they wouldn't even let me walk on a hill. I had to stay on flat ground. I couldn't do any activity. And prior to that accident, I was a jazzercise instructor teaching 7 classes a week, and on Monday spending 8 hours a day changing all those sets. Then I also was very active with my family. We were campers, hunters, hikers. We mountain biked, we snow skied, we water skied. I think you get the idea. We live here in the Pacific Northwest, and so that was just normal. And we went from doing all those things to not being able to do any of them. My son and husband would go and do it without me, and that became hard because it not only took a toll on me physically, but it also took a toll mentally. I started to do that thing where you ask God why, and I know you're not supposed to, but I did. So my story's pretty pronged. It's got lots of prongs to it, but I'm going to do a very condensed version here and just tell you that there was a lot happening, and I went to every kind of doctor there was, and they all ultimately just wanted to give me drugs. And I wasn't about that because my body doesn't respond good to that. So I decided at that point I needed to find a way to live as best a life as I could. At that time, I was in lots of pain, pretty much constant. I would spend half hour to 45 minutes stretching before I could even put my feet on the ground. If I danced at a wedding, I was in bed for 3 days. I couldn't lift things. I had a nerve condition that every nerve in my body was affected by. I also started having some vision problems from that. I had I'd lost strength, I'd lost fitness, my body changed completely. So all that's going on, and that's very depressing. And so I was physically and mentally kind of a mess. But I decided to live as most normal as I could, as best as I could. And for whatever reason, I tried to hide that from everyone. Don't know why, but it was a big deal to me. I didn't want them to think that I wasn't as strong as I'd been or as energetic as I'd been, but deep down I wasn't. But I did a pretty good job of hiding it. I prayed every single day for over 25 years. I was like, okay, God, I know you can do what man cannot. And when you're ready to bless me with health, I'm ready to accept it. And so at that point, I was then confronted with my mom dying with 2 different brain diseases, killing off her brain. And we found out they were hereditary. So my sisters and I did a lot of research about how we could work the best to protect our brains. And we kept all of us kept seeing both sugar and gut health. And at that point, I'd never even heard of Plexus. And that's when Plexus entered my world. I did a lot of research about it, and lo and behold, no one in my feed was even talking about Plexus until I'd done all this research. And then I got friended by a gal, if you know her name's Allie Kintz, and we were working on community vet together. And I was like, oh, Allie wants to be my friend. And all of a sudden, I started seeing Plexus. So I was like, oh. So I contacted her and said, I got to try this stuff. So I did. And the rest is history. It's been about 4 years ago, and in doing that, I have learned a lot about gut health. I've learned about the gut-brain connection. I've also learned about balancing your body. I've also learned about sugar and what that does to us. And you guys, it's all bad. You can make it good, though. And here's the thing is, a lot of the things that were going on in my body correlated to that, and I just had no idea. So here's the thing. You don't have to live in pain. You don't have to live your least best life. You may not have the same story as I do. You probably don't. I hope not. But know that if you're thinking, God, I just don't have the energy, I just don't feel right, I just don't feel good, you can. I promise. All you have to do is just reach out, and we can help you find the products that are right for what's going on in your body. And I tell people this all the time, and I don't say it lightly. It literally changed my world and my life and the way I get to live it. I got back a life that I thought I'd never get. Doesn't mean my life is perfect and that every day is sunshine and roses. There's some days I still have a hurt body because I have a hurt body. But now I get to live such a great life. I'm back to feeling good and feeling like myself and not questioning why God. Anyway, thanks for listening. If you have any questions or you'd like to hear more, because there's a whole lot going on in that story, don't hesitate to reach out. Thank you. Bye-bye.